All right, so the stream is live. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Today we have myself, Fiery, and Input. We are going to be casting. Hi Input. We're going to be casting Nightshade's Scrim. So this is a new team that we'll be facing. They're about 2 to 2.2k SR average. And I'm just really excited to see Nightshade play again for scrims. What are your thoughts, Input?
I'm excited too. We've been having some good practices lately, working on a lot of things, and it's nice to see a kind of more formal match format. Because since the Overwatch Pretenders tournament a while ago, we haven't really had as much organized scrim format or match format games.
So it looks like the first map here we'll be playing is Oasis. So what do we think Nightshade's going to play here? They might do like a dive to high ground, or do you think they're just going to rush point?
It's looking a little bit like double shield. Although it's a little bit hard to tell because we have Wayfarer on tank, and I know she's been working a lot on her support lately. And so it's looking like we're doing Bandit and Photo on support. Cloud swapping over to the DPS, and so that's been a change. We've had a little bit of turnaround in who plays what on the team, and wanting to try things up and try out new roles, and so it's fun to see that play out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Cloud on this Mei here. Mei is actually pretty meta right now, but Cloud typically plays main tank with the team, but again, she wanted to try out a new role too, so I'm excited to see her on DPS here.
The enemy running a Rein Zarya here. That Rein getting really low, and the wall just barely misses, but it's a lot of spam damage coming out with that Hanzo taking chip shots in the distance. Nice shield from Taco to block it off, but the shield comes down very quickly. That flank comes through pretty hard.
So unfortunately, Nightshade lost both supports, and then it was just the tanks that were left. So it looks like the opposing team has captured the point for this first attack.
And we're not seeing any swaps from Nightshade, which kind of makes sense. I don't really think... I mean, maybe you could swap Rein Zarya here, but I don't know if one needs to swap compositionally against what the enemy's running. That fight almost seemed a little bit lost positionally rather than compositionally.
Get into position.
Is Rein probably a shatter? Very aggressive window. Look at this Rein. This Rein might actually go down here. Maybe the Moira gets to save, keep him alive. And then the shatter comes out. There it is. That's just like...
That was a huge shatter. Yeah, it was.
Look at that pressure onto the Rein. You can hear that. You can almost hear the call out of kill Rein, Rein's low. When everyone just turned and looked at Rein and then focused on that point. They're just having a little bit of a hard time clearing the points, but seems to be trending towards winning this fight. Although the Soldier's Sky getting caught off by herself right now, and that Moira is super low. And there we go. That's control of point. There's a Hanzo behind who might get a cheeky pick, but. Alright, what do you think of that fight? How did that go for you?
Yeah, it was a little messy, but I mean, we did manage to cap it there, so that was good. I think that immortality field that was thrown by Photo was huge when the entire team was shattered there. That could have gotten really bad for Nightshade.
Yep. Like both Cloud on the Mei and Photo managed to bring that into a nice save. We'll see how Nightshade works around the grab coming up right now. Putting a lot of pressure onto this Rein. Like look how hard just all of Nightshade is making it for the Rein. And nice early bongo to really
I like the placement of this bongo too here.
It's a great bongo. Immortality comes out. Oh, unfortunately the Dragons does get Photo, but it looks like the fight win is going to go in the favor of Nightshade.
Yeah.
What that means is then Nightshade's going to put this up into a percentage in their favor soon.
I cast this
Now it looks like the other team does have some pretty strong alts coming up here. Almost all of them except for the Hanzo alt. So Nightshade's gonna have to play this next defense here pretty carefully.
And Wayfarer in a little bit of a sketchy rotation, which could mean, oh, Ryan gets walled off. Nightshade can't capitalize on it quite yet, though. Does this catch anyone out of position? The shadow potential, the flanking McCree High Noon gets no one. Then McCree's low. McCree goes down.
That was a nice pick there.
Shadow blocked by
beautiful
double block. Oh.
Now the ults are coming out.
A lot of ults. There's still the grab left. But this could be huge. This could be huge. Look at this. 90%. Stagger phase comes in for the enemy team. That's not Nightshade. The Lucio touches, but it's potentially going to die here. Lucio dies. There's still a grab, but can they even touch this Critic Flex to stop the recontest? And that's first point for Nightshade.
That was a really good performance by Nightshade there.
It really was.
I was worried because alt-wise, they didn't have as many as the enemy team had. But they were able to hold it despite all the alts that were kind of popped in that last fight.
Well, and what's been especially nice about that is one of the things we've been working on in practice is when defending, like being proactive with your ult usage, and so that the enemy doesn't really get a chance to use their ult against you in an ideal situation. You kind of ult them first to throw the enemy off, to maybe get a pick early on.
Yeah.
And so that if the enemy wants to commit to the fight, they have to do it when they're down or whatever. And so we saw that a little bit with the recent bongos, and then some other ults in later fights where, like, the enemy had a lot of ults, but Nightshade made good use of their ults that they did have by using them so proactively.
And then they got some early picks, which helped turn the fight in their favor, despite not having all of the ultimates on board. So it looks like we got some changes here. We're running Ryan Zarya now.
Okay.
But still have the Mei there.
Ooh, the good Mei wall. Cloud rocketed on this.
That's beautiful.
Well, the scary Han's on the right side. We'll see. Wayfarer walking a little past the Hanzo. Wayfarer killing it on the Rhine. Late stagger on the Hanzo. Let's see, does Nightshade go aggressive on this? They could. Huge fire strike. Shatter potentials. Just wait for it, go for it. Wait for it. Lots of ults from Nightshade. Okay. Will you give me an enemy team ult track situation here, Fiery? Because I think we use most fires, but I can't see the enemy ult status, so...
Yeah, so right now the only ultimate that's on the board for the enemy team is McCree, although Zarya and Hanzo are going to have it for this next fight, so I'm sure we'll see that combo come out here. Gotta play that safe.
Yeah.
Maybe save Immortality for that.
And there's... Oh, look at the interesting rotation! So we see from here coming up from this enemy team, this McCree High Noon on the high ground rotation. We'll see how Nightshade reacts to it. Wayfarer goes for a charge, the grab comes out, the counter shatter comes out. Things are getting messy.
We didn't see the Grav Dragons come out, which was kind of surprising.
No, we didn't.
This is still quite a messy fight here.
Yeah, this is... Oh, unfortunate to lose Bandit there, but...
Now it looks like Nightshade is down. Scott got a couple
stall this out, potentially,
picks.
to not, like, to... Yeah, because it's just right now, it's Baptiste on point.
Oh, wow. So the tanks managed to keep it, yeah.
That's a scrappy fight. But you're not feeling good if you're not Nightshade right now. Whatever. Do we know the enemy team's name?
I do not. We'll find that out in between maps.
Yeah. Okay, so the Rhine goes down early, B comes out. The enemy Zarya is low. We lose Moira, but there's a big freeze. McCree dies, so Zarya and Immortality on point. And so it's looking like this enemy team used every ult to retake. So one of the things we've been working on in Nightshade practices lately has been this kind of sometimes saving ults when it's at 99%. That sometimes it's okay to not use all your ults to then get the good retake, which hopefully we'll see Nightshade do now. They have a Shatter, they have Grav.
Yeah, some very nice tank ults here. And on the opponent's side, we only see Rhine Shatter that they have right now. So actually, Nightshade's in pretty good shape here. Oh, a Shatter on both sides come out.
Yeah, unfortunately it's looking like it's a little bit better for this enemy team. By losing Photo.
At this point, I think Nightshade needs to regroup.
Taking more of a fight. Okay, now Nightshade does decide to get back out.
So we have some ults that are available now for this fight. Again, the enemy team doesn't really have anything, but we do have Grav and Visor as potential ults here in this next fight.
Lots of pressure on Wayfarer's shield right here, making it hard for her to take space. She's trying though, good bubble rotation. Wayfarer swinging her heart out. We see the Grav come out, hits 3. This YOLO Rhine charge comes out. The only one dies in the Grav though, with Immortality coming out at the point. Nice coalescence from Bandit. It's putting a lot of pressure onto... Oh no. This got real scrappy. Out of any cooldowns? No,
unfortunately no. Yeah. So it looks like Bandit's just trying to stall on point as best as she can. Now
one of the things
Wayfarer.
we've seen now is this, this Rhine has done kind of weird stuff, where he's gone kind of flank shatters and flank positions and flank charges, but it hasn't quite been able to be blocked enough, or like countered enough to have it really be punished yet.
Well, I think the Shatter that was in that previous fight kind of caught Nightshade off guard. I think he was.
I think definitely.
He had flanked, right? He was on the far right side.
Coming from the coast side. And Photo very quickly reacted and threw down an Immortality on herself, but the Rhine then charged Photo out of the Immortality, pinning her against a wall. And so I think Taco had a bubble. She could have turned around and used it on Photo to save Photo potentially. But there was also people shattered on the ground in front of her, and it was hard to even hear that her team got shattered. The two voice lines played almost at the same time, I think.
So we're now running a Hanzo instead of the soldier on this point. Everything else looks the same though from Nightshade's side.
With good pressure on the enemy Rhine, and both teams kind of being very respectful of each other. A little bit of DPS flanks happening. The enemy team takes it to point a little bit faster, but they don't have their DPS on point. The DPS are on flanks. Wayfarer's charge doesn't quite connect. Korgmore gets really low. There's a flanking McCree, who's just being difficult right now. We'll see how this plays out. Wayfarer going on the offensive. And then Korgmore gets out of it. Wayfarer decides to go even farther. And everyone in the enemy team goes after her. But how much does it cost? It gives point to Nightshade. Bandit uses Coalescence. And then some late kills on the McCree. Quite an interesting first fight, right?
Seems like Nightshade established point presence pretty early there. So the opponent had to try to push into them. So even though the opponent wasn't down a ton of people, they just didn't have enough bodies on the point, so to speak, to prevent Nightshade from capping it. That was a huge fire strike, combined with the window, right?
Window are just so like dangerous.
At this point, Nightshade just needs to try to stall point. Yep.
Doing a good job on it. I think Bandit and Sky are waiting, as they should. Let's see, does Sky go for a cheeky Sonic Arrow picks here? She's doing a little bit of chip damage onto the... There's a Sonic. And the Nightshade goes in. 4 ults on the board for Nightshade. A couple on the board for the enemy team too, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how Nightshade approaches this. Go for the Fire Strike. Unfortunately, our Fire Strike not as valuable. We yeet a grab out there. Grab Dragon's combo on the yeeted grab. The McCree's low on high ground. But... Okay.
It will restore you.
I like the idea of that engagement.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely some kind of... So maybe we see him change it from skies, but there's some kind of proactive ult usage thing from... We saw the combo for Grab Dragons, didn't quite connect in the way we wanted to. What do you think about the Nightshade still running Ryan Zarya here?
I'm not sure.
Get into position.
Because in some sense, Nightshade had a pretty effective first point push with running double shield.
Mm-hmm.
That Ryan is incredibly won.
That was a nice pin by Wayfarer there.
It was really a nice pin. This is sketchy though.
It is.
Uh oh, lots of pressure on. Yeah, there we go. Okay. We kind of need something huge from Nightshade right now.
Looks like we only have Sky and Photo left on the point. Now just Photo.
They're getting picks though.
Sky's still there.
Do we have Attack Visor coming on board? And unfortunately, we don't.
No.
Okay. I like that though. It was a good showing from Nightshade, I think.
I think so too, yeah.
Score 2-1.
Do you mind hosting the stream by yourself in between rounds? I can go talk to Nightshade in between rounds.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alright, so that was the end of the first map, which was Oasis. Overall, I think a good showing from both teams here. Nightshade did take one of the 3 points there. We saw a lot of Ryan Zarya in play, which was kind of interesting because I think with this meta, we're seeing a lot more Orisa Sigma, but maybe we want that mobility to try to capture the point there. You know, and in some cases it seems like the ultimates were the reasons why the opponent captured the point. But still, I think it really was a good showing overall by Nightshade there. It wasn't, you know, completely dominated by one team versus the other. Looks like we're about to find out what the next map will be here. Another thing to keep in mind is that, again, this is a scrim, it's for practice, so we do have some of Nightshade's players playing roles that maybe they typically haven't played in the past on the team. So it's a good way for us to experiment with different comps, experiment with different players on those different roles, and building confidence in those new roles. So we are going to see how the team can utilize those different strategies that maybe they haven't used in the past. So currently we're finding out what the next map will be, and Input is giving some coaching tips probably to Nightshade in between the maps, maybe kind of seeing how they're feeling, what their strategies and thoughts were behind, you know, their choices that were done during that map, and maybe we'll see some changes for the next map. We might also see some subs. I do know that we have two of our other Nightshade players, Kitty as well as AJ, who currently are spectating. And so we'll see if they want to come in. So Kitty is typically one of our DPS players, but she also likes playing support. And AJ has been rocking it on tank, both off tank and main tank as well. So we're going to see. It does look like we are going to have a swap here. So Wayfarer will be swapped out for AJ. We'll see AJ again, probably on that tank role. And it looks like the next map is going to be King's Row, which some people dub it as Scrim's Row because it seems like it's always a favorite map of every Scrim. A lot of teams love King's Row and practicing on that one. So we actually might see more of that Rein Zarya play. Rein Zarya still is pretty strong on King's Row despite more of that Orisa Sigma meta that's been occurring. So we'll see if we'll stay with the Rein Zarya or if we'll switch it up. Let's see if there's any other swaps here. Looks like we're about to be ready here. So we might have one more swap going in. We're checking in just a second here. And again, if you're just joining us, we are going to be starting map 2 shortly. Usually we'll be doing 4 to 5 maps depending on how long it ends up taking. So we're anticipating doing about that many tonight. So we're still early here as far as the Scrim maps go. I'm excited to see, more of a strong showing from Nightshade here in the next few maps. Alright, and according to Nightshade, there will be no more swaps, and we are ready. So we will be starting here in just a second. I'm sure input will be popping back in a moment, and then we'll go ahead and get started with King's Row. So our player lineup is going to be Taco, AJ, Cloud, Sky, Bandit, and Photo. So I'm anticipating that Taco and AJ will be on that tank role, and Cloud again used to play tank, but she's now playing a pretty strong Mei in the last few maps, or the last few rounds I should say, of the Oasis map. So we're going to see her probably on DPS along with Sky, and Bandit and Photo on that support role. So Bandit has been rocking it on the Moira and Photo on the Baptiste. So lots of heals being dished out by our healers. And the DPS role, again, we're running more of the Mei, and Sky is pretty flexible with her DPS. We've been seeing Hanzo, we've been seeing Soldier and McCree. So, and again, we might see more Rein Zarya for King's Row. And it looks like, at least with the way the lobby is set up right now, we will be having Nightshade attack first. And we've just received the already from the opponent. We will be starting King's Row now. And again, this is map 2 out of 4 or 5. So let's take a peek into the attacker's spawn and see what they end up running here. Alright, at least for initial picks. Now this may change. At least initially, we are seeing an Orisa Sigma, and it looks like Input has joined us again. Welcome back.
I have joined.
How is Nightshade doing?
Doing pretty well. heard good feedback from them, kind of wanted to hear what they thought about it, and I think one of the things we've noticed is how much more effective we kind of are as a team when our communication is on point, and how just like at times when things get a little bit rougher in a game, or things start to kind of look down, how it's hard to kind of keep up with talking and being like on top of our comms and everything like that. And I think they expressed some of that in their experience of the game, and how that map felt a little bit tricky because of like their it was harder to keep up with the communications as much once things kind of turned against their way a little bit.
Ooh, that was a good early pick right there
Yeah.
by AJ.
Now Ryan gets low, the pull back, and we're into Immortality. And then interesting Maywall.
I want to see
Sorry,
Nightshade
it's
push
low.
in here. Now they're up 2. Immortality
Yep.
is down. We definitely have the advantage here.
Look at these pulls though. I like them. They're just kind of... I don't know what that Ryan charge happened from. The Reaper's coming back. New Orisa shield. Good pull on the Zen. Forces Immortality. Oh, that's a lot of pressure onto the Orisa. Goes for the res. AJ goes down. The wall almost saves Taco. Flanking Reaper. Bob's could come out. Maywolf coming off cooldown soon. Late pick on the Zen. That you'd like to see it. Aggressive Bob pulls a flank angle. There's a Reaper who's gonna come around behind, who has ult soon, right?
Yeah, Reaper is pretty close to ult
And the
there.
Reaper, there we go.
Oh wow. So even though they did have some players that could have touched point, we did manage to cap there. Now, what I would do is push up into that Rhine there. He's pretty much by himself.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see. Look at that. We get a great pull on it once that shield comes down. The Maywall comes out to try to stop the inevitable, but
I like this aggressive positioning by Nightshade here at this corner.
absolutely.
And then it looks like we have Bandit just kind of chilling on the payload, pushing it along.
And I do want to see how Nightshade uses ult here. I think the enemy team. Did we find out the enemy team's name?
Oh, not yet.
Uh-oh. So Taco and AJ could pull but kite around the corner. But Taco kind of kites to an awkward spot, a little bit too much pressure on Taco. Still 4 ults on board for Nightshade. Nightshade seems to be getting back.
Let's get you back out there.
AJ's keeping the pressure on. We'll see if Nightshade commits ults to this fight. Uh-oh. So it's a late Bob from Sky. After the Mercy's dead, unfortunately. There's Reaper behind. Bob doesn't get much, and there's a little bit of a kind of staggering, messy fight. Huh. Did Cloud swap to... So Cloud swapped to Soldier, right?
Yeah, she's been on Soldier pretty much since the beginning of this map here.
Oh, forgive me.
Oh, that's okay. She did
Yeah,
use her
for
visor.
some reason I thought she was on main.
Oh, there's a huge shatter there.
Yeah. This is a great play from the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
Because they got the bongos out. And ult advantage is now going to be the enemy team's favor. Late pick onto Sky.
So as far as ult economy goes, we do have quite a few on the board for the opponent here. There is a Grav on board as well as a Blizzard and Death Blossom as well as Baptiste Window. So we do have some pretty devastating ults on the board, and we don't have a defensive
this
ult
is-
to protect against it.
And the Ryan behind again. The whole team behind. Okay, good. That's 2 ults though.
It was, yep.
Because what you kind of want in that situation, when you can identify the enemy has so many ults, it's kind of like, alright, let's just go try to take a quick fight, try to make them use ults, and then hopefully we get some ult charge and they use some other ult charge, so then we can take another fight. Because we had 2 minutes at that point. Now we have 1.5 minutes. It was a pretty quick fight. We go again. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
I want to see Nightshade looking around corners a little bit more, making sure they identify where people are. Okay, so early Sigma ult comes out. Zarya's really low. Reaper is on point. But discorded. Got focused down. Shatter comes out, but I think it's blocked by the Mei wall. I think that's a...
That was their teammates' Mei wall.
Yeah, exactly. And we used a window. I think Bandit's gonna be wishing she got that one back. But...
And AJ cleaned up pretty well there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like this kind of forward positioning a little bit. As long as we don't give point here. And I don't think we will. I think we'll get second. I think this pressure just keeps Nightshade, like, secures Nightshade. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the tanks are doing a great job of maintaining space. Making
look
sure.
at those poles. Like,
Yep.
I love Taco's poles. She's like a tow truck. She has poles so good. And look at Zarya being really low. Ryan Shield being low. Mei out of position, discorded. Nice discord photo. Good for Raj to clean things up potentially. Pharah dies, but we can pick off these fights. These are just gonna be stagger. Uh-oh. How much pressure does AJ take? She wants that. She wanted that Baptiste. Did I see this flanker? Do you see this flanker going on right now?
Now,
I don't know if Expecting's caught it. There's a Reaper hiding in the wings, as it were. Presumably he has ult. He's coming in.
He does not have ult, but still, he can just kind of wreck the backline.
Stunned out of it.
Oh wow!
Taco walk out. Oh my god, this is huge. Lots of pressure on Taco, but then Trance comes in a little bit late. But we have AJ. She could use this ult right here. The enemy then should have Trance right there, right? No, he changed to late, I think. And
he does have Trance, but he didn't use it.
Okay. Uh-oh. Bandit goes down, unfortunately. Not the best Sigma ult. And this is looking bad, actually, for Nightshade. Oh, no.
Lots of ults on the side of the enemy team here.
And, like, their opportunity to win that has kind of slipped out from their hands, and I'm not quite sure what it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I think AJ was being a little bit too conservative with her ult. I think you can use it sometimes just to lift people off the point at that situation. But I don't know if that was just it. I don't know if there was a target focus issue or quite what it was. But we'll see how they recover from it. Bandit has window. There's there we go. Lots of pressure onto this enemy team. Mei gets ice blocked out of position. AJ's trying to make it to point. Mei gets discorded. Cloud goes down. Rez comes out on someone, I think, right? No. I just misread that. Forgive me.
Ooh, this could be bad. Yep.
Okay. Good hold from the enemy team, though. I like it.
It was, yep.
It was hard. AJ really had to drive to make it there in time. Which really put her, like, exposed to a lot of damage and a lot of pressure.
But overall, I think Nightshade did pretty well. I mean, they got it almost to the end. If they would have won that last fight, you know, when they had pushed it all the way pretty much to the end, then they would have capped all 3 points.
Yep. And so it seems like we are doing scrim rules, where we're gonna restart so the enemy has a chance to, like, make it all the way.
So we will see Nightshade on defense now.
And we had some discussion in between the rounds with Nightshade and about the decision to run Rein Zarya versus Double Shield.
Okay, what were their thoughts on that?
Because I asked, and Wayfarer weighed in first, saying that she really wanted to brawl, and because University is a kind of smaller map, to her running Ryan felt kind of more right, I guess. Oh no, I'm spectating the wrong team now. And then with Wayfarer swapping to Ryan, And then I guess it was, who was it? The other tank. It was Taco. Taco swapped to Zarya to match Orion. We still don't really have a consensus as to whether or not we think the double shield was more effective than the Rein Zarya, or if it was other issues. But we'll see how it goes. Like, Quay is Quay is spectating, right? Not actually playing.
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm now spectating the wrong team.
Ooh, wow. So Nightshade pretty much stopped that push in its tracks. And good aggression here to, you know, pick off any stragglers that were just kind of trying to back out. Get that extra ult charge there.
Touch from afar.
So currently it looks like the opponent is going up top through the theater, and they've now dropped down and they're wrapping around to the high ground.
And there's a flanking Hanzo too, who's off by himself right now.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that at first, but it looks like he was picked.
Oh. But the photo goes in this change too. Oh, we lose Bandit and Photo.
Ooh, down both healers now.
Yeah. Was what happened there, the tanks pushed W to follow up on getting the Hanzo, and then because of that, the kind of support wrapped forward a little bit, and then when the main drive of the enemy came off that high ground and onto point, it then meant they were straight on the backline without the tanks in front of them.
Something like that, yeah. And I think the supports kind of went, you know, into cover in that building there, and the enemy team just pushed them in there. So they were pretty much cornered without any backup from the rest of Nightshade. And losing the supports early like that is just devastating for a defense.
And like this too.
Yeah, that's
Photo,
rough.
there was double shield, but Photo was kind of standing up at the high ground, not behind either of the shield. And we commit bongos to it regardless. Nightshade's like, I want to take this fight, which now we're down both supports. But we're putting a lot of pressure onto Phantom, the Hanzo of the enemy team. And Nightshade making this enemy team work for it. The Shatter comes out, which I think should secure this team fight. And would like to see Taco maybe playing on point, because I don't think she can get out of the situation alive. Yeah. And so maybe a little bit of a stagger here. That early this dragons that could come out right now is scary for the recontest.
Yeah. Looks like we are committing tire.
Oh! I think the dragons was too late. Or they... Because it doesn't even come out yet, and the fight might be lost at this point. Lots of ults coming out for Nightshade. Have you seen? There's still Grav.
Grav Dragon's on the side of the opponent, but now Zarya's down, so that's not going to happen right here.
And unfortunately, Bandit uses window, or Photo uses window.
That was a little late there, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd kind of like that for the Grav Dragons combo. I don't know if you can heal
through the dragons.
Yeah.
That's a good question with the window.
Because if you have if you window amp heal with like Moira and throwing a healing orb through the window and Bap full healing the tanks that are in the Grav presumably. I don't know. Like that's a lot of healing, but also Grav Dragons is a lot of damage. Okay, so the window comes out early. Doesn't quite get respected, or actually no, I don't know. The kite happens and it's a nice kite. Grav comes out, Dragons comes out, Immortality comes out. Immortality goes down, Grav, Dragons hits everyone.
They also committed Shatter
comes
there.
out too. And that's point B for whatever this other team's name is.
But right now the opponent only has Reaper's Death Blossom on the board. Everything else is very low in ult charge. So Nightshade definitely has the ult advantage, although that was a late stagger right there. That's a little rough.
Yeah. Both DPS walking into that Hanzo line of sight. I was watching
we can see
spectator the Hanzo this whole time.
Reaper's up top, ready to drop down after Immortality is gone, and
Bandit out in the open a little.
There it
scarily.
is.
Yep. Okay, there it is. At least the Reaper dies here. But I feel like there's going to be some staggers coming overhead from Nightshade. There's a Sigma off on the side.
yeah, AJ's kind of in a bad spot, although if she can get her ult...
Yeah, and I saw some good counter movement from Bandit, which is I like to see. AJ goes for the ult. Does she get it? She doesn't get it off.
Nope, she got pinned by the Rhine. Totally
okay.
stopped that ultimate there.
I think that Rhine might die here, though. Immortality has to come out to save the Rhine. Is that... Oh, the Sky got super low there.
And Sky's pushing up here.
Yeah, but Nightshade's looking like they're... Oh, there's another Baby Shield. And then a window just to, like, get back. Force them back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then... Zarya playing very aggressively.
We're gonna see Grab Dragons. They have it charged again. And unfortunately, we've just committed the Immortality field, so this could be pretty ugly here.
Yeah. And then we want to see a kind of spread for the Grab Dragons. I feel like when we're not running a Zen. There we go. This is one way to deal with
that was a huge ult by Sky.
Yeah. Because there still are some ults on board for Nightshade, right?
Well, currently we only have bongos, but we'll probably see a BAP window come out, maybe May Blizzard. Those ones can charge pretty quickly here. But again,
Blink coming out from...
We do have Grab Dragon
gonna
still.
Die or is he gonna live? Uh-oh.
Ooh, this is rough here.
Yeah, this is very rough.
And we did commit the Immortality. Here's the Grab Dragons.
Oh, but that Zarya is super low. The Zarya is so... The enemy Zarya is so incredibly low. She does get healed up though and stay alive. And so Nightshade kind of throwing bodies on point, trying to stay alive. The Zarya is so high charged. Laser beaming everyone. Uh-oh. Quick stall coming out potentially from Nightshade. Got a freeze on point, but can anyone else touch? They did go fast characters though. And they almost had Taco and Sky touch.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that one, Fiery?
You know, overall, again, it was pretty even. Nightshade almost had it pushed all the way to the end, and the opponent pushed it all the way to the end just under a minute. So, you know, overall, it was pretty evenly matched. I do think Nightshade, you know, I hope they're tracking ultimates, because I think that was always a big threat, the threat of Grav Dragons. You know, making sure we have some sort of defensive ult, or we have the BAP Immortality available for that, and then just keeping an eye out for that sneaky Reaper. I mean, he had some pretty big Death Blossoms there.
Yeah. I think it's tricky though, because Grab Dragons is such a combo. Like, if it's a grab that really gets a couple people, even with Immortality, it's kind of hard to live through. Like, and even with like a trance or something, it's pretty hard to live through. Like,
But then, you know, maybe they do what you suggested, which is spread out a little bit. You know, don't put yourself in a position where you can get caught in it. That's another option as well.
Because it's, I feel like you almost have to play around it positionally.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's just your tank in it, if it's just your tank in, like, in the Grab Dragons, and you trade 2 ults for, like, one of your tanks, that seems kind of reasonable to me. And not as, like, potentially team wiping as, like, 4 of your people in it.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I go check in with the teammates quickly?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll be starting on the next map. We just completed map 2, which was King's Row. Again, pretty even showing from both teams. First map was Oasis. Nightshade capped one of the rounds of that. And then, again, both teams... well, at least Nightshade pushed it almost to the end, and the opponent pushed it all the way to the end. So, again, this seems like a pretty evenly matched scrim, which it's great to see. So we'll be moving on to our next map here, map number 3. We'll probably be playing 4 or 5 maps tonight, so there's still plenty of Overwatch left here. Currently, we have Rialto selected in the setup screen here. So that might be our next map. We're also making some swaps here. So we have Eerie in for Cloud. So she might be playing DPS role. We'll see about that. It looks like everyone else pretty much staying the same. We're still going to probably run Taco and AJ on those tanks. It was nice to see, you know, a variety of tanks being run. So we've seen the Rein Zarya, we've also seen the Sigma Orisa. I think that AJ's Sigma is pretty solid there. She was going aggro and cleaning up pretty well. And Taco was doing a great job with her pulls and making sure that her shield was up far enough to take space as a tank. I think they just had a solid showing. And then we saw some great effort from, again, the DPS. So I know Skye had a pretty critical Death Blossom. That was really exciting to see. And then the supports are doing a great job as well. And I do enjoy seeing Cloud playing the DPS role as well. She was playing some Soldier and Junkrat there in the last game. And yeah, the healers, we've seen lots of coalescences by Bandit. She's just like a Moira whiz. So we've seen her do that, and then photo with the Baptiste as well, and making sure, you know, she's keeping the team alive and using immortality when she can. So pretty impressed so far with this match. And again, we're gonna probably be doing Rialto next. And with, again, the way that this lobby's set up currently, Nightshade may be attacking first. Now, if we stay with Rialto, we'll have to keep in mind a couple things. So Rialto, especially when you attack coming out of that first door, we have to be aware of any sort of pulls or boops that may happen. Now, I've seen some pretty solid pulls done by Cloud on Orisa in the past. I'm going to give a shout out to her. We had one scrim in the past where she got a pull and pretty much pulled off, I think, like 4 of the enemy team on that bridge when she was playing Orisa on defense, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, so we'll need to be aware of things like that, or if the opponent runs like a Lucio, we don't want to be booped off at the beginning there. Now, also with Rialto, especially on that first point, I've seen a lot of pharmacy played, and so it'll be interesting to see if either team ends up running a pharmacy, and if so, you know, the hit scans will need to step up and help counter it, you know, even just to put some pressure on the pharmacy, even if they can't get them eliminated. So we'll see if the pharmacy comes out or not. It looks like we are about ready here. We've got readies from both sides. We're entering the map here. Yes, we are doing Rialto, and yes, Nightshade will be attacking first. So let's get that set up here.
I am back.
Welcome back, Input. Looks like we are doing Rialto for our next map here.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was talking about on stream while you were gone was that Rialto is a map that I've seen Pharmacy ran quite a bit on, especially for this first point here. Do you think Nightshade's going to run a Pharmacy, or are they prepared to potentially go up against a Pharmacy?
Unfortunately, I have a bit of a spoiler going on now because as you asked the question,
now we can see the teams. Yeah.
I do think the Nightshade's going to run Pharmacy here. We do see if it does look like the defenders are also going to be running a double sniper defense with that Widow and res potential.
I wonder if that Widow's going to give our Pharmacy trouble here.
We'll see how Sky plays the angles. I remember Fariha talking about this map when it first came out and how much fun she had playing around with the roofs on this map and just peeking cheeky angles.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And so also I think as a team, they're very much gonna try to kind of like look around more this time, especially on their kind of approaches, because they've identified that some of the enemy players like to play this kind of cheeky flank style, and so now Nightshade in that identification that the tank and the Reaper on the enemy team like to play that cheeky flank style, that they're now instead going to because if you catch out those cheeky plays, it's maybe one person or two people out of position rather than like it's like a 2v6 or 1v6 or whatever, if you can target focus on that person very quickly.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so the good pressure on the Widow. Widow has to get cover? Yeah, Widow got cover. And this corner is being a little bit stymieing. All's coming out. Rez and Val come out. Bandit dies to a crazy Hanzo arrow. Do we see Sky going for a barrage? We could. No, Taco goes down. Phantom dies. Yep, there's the barrage.
There's the barrage, yeah.
It gets, okay, good. I think it gets enough. There's a Mercy. Just trying her best. Her body got flung.
And Photo just res Sky back up. So, Pharmacy lives again. And looks like, yep, she's just resetting. Very good push initially for Nightshade.
Interesting. We see a swap onto the Reaper. Nocturus wanting to swap onto the Reaper.
It's May Reaper on the side of the enemy team, which I personally wouldn't really run against a Pharmacy.
Well, and if you are going to run it, I feel like you have to be very careful with how you run it, because you want to engage on the enemy at close range. And maybe be kind of like hiding on them, or really just kind of brawl on them and bring the fight to them. But like, I don't know. It feels to me like the Pharaoh's getting a lot of value right here, and rocked out of the sky.
Yeah.
Harry, have you heard my new favorite Overwatch pickup line?
No, I haven't.
Are you Sigma? Because you just rocked my world.
Aww.
The flanking Reaper here. On Eerie. Nice peel for Eerie though.
I've got you in my sights.
And then Eerie goes on a flank. And I like this barrage for pressure. Like, that Maywell really shut down that window effectively. Cleanup kills. Sneaky Reaper. Who do you think notices the Sneaky Reaper?
Looks like Eerie already
Eerie
noticed,
yep. Arian Sky. Reaper's now confused as to what he's going to do in his life. Gets Sky, though.
Oof.
Tis unfortunate. And then Photo can't go for the res. Yeah, and I think
We're
the team
kinda
is
just-
confused right now. What do we do about that Reaper?
Yeah.
He's back there, but... Okay.
Unfortunately, I think that Reaper took quite a lot of our attention away where we weren't really supporting the front line there. Because I saw Taco still push up, you know, pushing the payload forward, but a lot of us were kind of turned around and like, you know, where's that Reaper?
Yeah. But it did also... The enemy team did also use... like Mei ult and bongos to counter our own bongos. And so that like there was some Reaper distraction that happened there, but there's also just good ult combination, or just pretty impressive ult combination from this enemy team. And now Nightshade's coming up on their own ults. And we'll see how this plays out. Mercy gets caught in it. Mercy dies. We could have a barrage soon. Sky looking like she's going for the flank. Death Blossom comes out. It gets then we get the res coming out. Shield for the res. The res gets booped away, I believe. Yeah, the res gets booped away. Counter Sigma ult. We coalescence. Oh no, we don't coalescence. Sorry, we Valk. That's a really interesting interaction. Did you know about that? So if you are Mercy and you're like flying through a gravitic flux well in Valk, it like still gravitic fluxes you even though you're flying and aren't affected by gravity normally.
Hmm. Is there like a height maximum for the gravitic flux? Like would a Pharah in the air that's above it would still get attacked?
I'm not sure. I like this rotation. Look at this nice rotation from Nightshade.
Oh yeah.
The approach is good. Look at the double DPS ults. To really put the pressure on them, we use Baptiste ult, I think a little bit early. It doesn't quite get the value we want to. Because the Baptiste ult right here maybe would be a nicer situation. But now it really pressures the recontest. Mei ult on roll on point. This Reaper's trying to be flanky. Taco's AJ tried to keep the Reaper honest, but paid her life for it. And Eerie doesn't quite make it out of the Mei ult. Do you think the pharmacy has overstayed its welcome?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
It's just not as strong on that last point there. It's enclosed. There's not really a lot of space for them to fly around.
Mm-hmm. Well, so we see some swaps from Nightshade now.
So it seems like they agree as well. Something else might work better.
And we get the similar rotation. I think this. The one thing I want to see about this rotation that's tricky is this Mei wall. There we go.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, we called that.
AJ save sucked though, which is nice. Oh, and that Reaper. Who identifies the Reaper? Anyone?
Do they not see him? Uh-oh. And
Uh-oh.
we didn't move forward quickly enough, so Mei already had another wall and could block out the tanks again. This is a pretty messy push here.
Yeah.
We need to regroup quickly.
Does Bandit make it out? Yep.
Well, and will anyone even be able to touch here? There's only 12 seconds left.
AJ almost should have gone ball, but I guess but she
Yeah.
has ult, so it must be on Taco to go ball, which makes that to touch. Because this ult's good, but who can touch? Okay.
That Reaper, though, seemed to be giving us some problems. And the Mei wall when they were trying to rotate on the side there.
Well, maybe it's tricky like that because it dictates the tempo so much that like when she hasn't used wall yet, you gotta be kind of cautious and careful and a little bit like cognizant of the fact that it could wall you off and you might have to play around that. But then when she does use wall and it's not very good or you break in, then you have that kind of time where you gotta get your movement done, get through your positioning you need to do, be kind of aggressive in your movement. And then once that wall comes again, potentially be careful about how you move or whatever to deal with it again. And it's tricky to have that kind of slow, fast approach playing against a Mei wall.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Nightshade's still trying to figure out who's playing what. We got a Sigma Orisa here, so maybe Taco can pull them at the bridge area. Might be running Hanzo.
Taco's had some good pulls so far this evening.
Mm-hmm. I think there's some pretty good synergy between Taco and AJ. AJ's also been doing a great job, like being aggressive when she needs to and taking space with Taco.
Okay, we see Sky onto the Reaper.
Yeah, Nightshade's kind of setting up a little late here, but
yeah, I think it's just barely in time though. And there's a Hanzo going for a flank on the bridge, which could pay off. The pull doesn't quite get the Baptiste. And then Phantom on that bridge is trying to get trying to get some value, but isn't getting it. And then it's pushing a little bit aggressive. Get Sky. And there we go. And then Nightshade knows. I want to see Bandit. Okay, there we go. Phantom goes down. But how does Nightshade react on the front line? Because some of the trouble has been this situation where there's been a kind of flanker dealing with the flanker, but then not losing the front line fight too much in the meantime.
Get into position.
And so, pretty good Orisa shield, I think. And then it comes down fast. A couple seconds till Taco gets another shield. Lots of pressure. Photo uses Immortality pretty early. Good pull, pulling everyone together. The Hanzo gets walled off. Window comes out. Ult on both sides. Window.
lots of ults.
Yeah. I think this is looking like it's going to go in the favor of Nightshade.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels to me like Nightshade really needed to use that many ults to actually win that fight. Like, I'm not sure what ult you would not use in that situation and still feel sure you're going to win that fight.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough to have to use that many, and we gotta watch people's heads right now. Especially Photo. She's speaking. Okay, there. Thank you, AJ, with a nice shield. Because this just shuts down this Hanzo so much. Like, what's Phantom supposed to do right now? Like, Phantom's shooting a Sigma shield over there.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Photo used Immortality. Sigma comes down. Dragons comes out. It's not quite as huge as it needs to be. Sky gets walled off a little bit. Oh, it's so close to getting so much value from some of those ults right there. The focus on the Corgi. What's the guy's name? Corgmore?
Corgmore, yeah.
Do you think he likes corgis? Do you think that's what the name is?
Yeah, maybe they want more corgis.
Exactly. I mean, you can't really blame them. This ult economy advantage for this team is a little bit scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Nightshade's gonna have to keep an eye out for that Reaper with the Death Blossom, because he's kind of
for sure.
caught us off guard a couple times here.
I think our early gravitic fluxes are pretty tricky. Oh, there we go. There's the Reaper Death Blossom. As expected. But early gravitic fluxes I think are a little bit tricky, because if the enemy has a lot of cooldowns, especially that Immortality and maybe like amped heals or something like that, it's pretty hard to get enough value from it.
Especially the Immortality, because, I mean, the Baptiste just threw that down, and yeah, it's hard to get the value when it's readily available like that.
Yep. And then a flanking Reaper again. Bong goes from Taco. Bandit goes down to... Oh, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, because the Reaper's behind too, and the Reaper puts a lot of pressure on. Eerie... so Sky gets the Reaper, I guess. I thought it was Eerie, but then Photo dies in the process. The DPS duo for this enemy team is just quite strong. Like, if it's not a flanking Reaper being difficult, it's
A flanking Hanzo.
yeah, it's Phantom like landing shots that are just like like the important shots, right? Because like Phantom doesn't land that shot on Bandit. That just doesn't quite go the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Immortality comes out, and unfortunately doesn't quite get the value we wanted to. AJ goes down. Photo has windows. Eerie gets stunned out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Things are sketchier. This might do it, though. Hopefully Sky doesn't use Bob here. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think you wanted Bob for the next fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you're going into this next fight with Bob and Coalescence, with May ult being soon, I think you feel pretty good about it.
Get into position.
AJ being progressive, gets the suck off, gets the pull, chill rotation from the attacking team comes in. Oh, that rock! But then see, you could like there's a lot of like, good May ults, the good May ult could make the difference here.
Mm-hmm.
Eerie is playing forward. Eerie uses ice block. Reaper playing the side angle. Mortality comes down. Reaper still being a little bit cheeky on the side. Eerie contesting the Reaper. Reaper races into the back line. Onto Sky. Bandit gets the finishing blow on that. Sigma ult comes out. Oh no, see both tanks die. The B makes it out.
It was a beautiful blizzard, except that the enemy Lucio was able to use a beat to save them.
Yep. It might be enough to stall it though. When we lose Bandit, we lose Photo. Oh no! It's tragic. Because we have Sigma ult here coming soon. Eerie, can you stay alive? There's a lot of pressure on Eerie. Stay alive in this situation. Sky dies. Bongos comes out. The enemy team looks like they're rotating back. Gives a moment respite for Nightshade. Enemy team regrouping a little bit. The Bongos scaring them off. There's still the Sigma ult. There's Bob coming soon. This is good for Nightshade. We have a nice opportunity. That the scary Reaper ult though. He's value with it before.
Looks like Nightshade's been doing a good job checking the side. Oh, except for now. Unfortunately, we did lose that Sigma ult there.
Yep.
Maybe that was popped a little too late.
It's a good round though.
I agree.
Score.
I was doing a VOD review of Wayfair earlier today, and though she's not in this game, one of the things that kind of came up was like how both tricky immortality is to use, but also how important it is to use it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Because in this like last engagement, the dragons came out, and so Photo used immortality to try to kind of save the team against the dragons, but actually most of the team could just rotate out of the dragons and be fine. But what that meant then was we didn't have immortality for the window or the Death Blossom or the Sigma ult that came right after it. And it's hard when you have to kind of make the assessment of, is this scary ult going to actually kill us, or can we actually live through this without immortality so that we have it for potentially the next scary ultimate?
Yeah, as someone who plays a lot of Baptiste, that is definitely something that comes up a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go talk to them again, and I will leave you to the stream for a little bit.
Okay. Alright, so we will be setting up for map number 4 here in just a moment. So we've played 3 maps so far. First one was Oasis, second one was King's Row, and then third one, which you just saw, was Rialto. And if you've just joined, all 3 maps have honestly been pretty evenly sided, with the opponent clutching the win just barely above Nightshade. So I think it's been very good practice so far for Nightshade, and we've seen a lot of great plays from both sides here. Now, as far as what Nightshade can work on, You know, I think the Reaper in that last game especially was giving us some trouble. I think towards the end, Nightshade was definitely being more aware of where that Reaper could go. They're trying to check that left flank a lot more on defense on that last point. Just trying to check if he's going to try to sneak past. I saw the DPS, you know, take a look and try to scare him away a couple times there, which was good to see. Because initially, Reaper kind of just snuck behind the team and gave us a lot of trouble. So I think if they keep an eye out for that, as well as the enemy team's Reinhardt has also gotten some pretty sneaky shatters, especially on King's Row. So I think that's definitely a takeaway Nightshade can do, is just be aware of your flanks, check the corners, check, you know, who's going to be flanking, and just keeping in the back of their mind, like, what ultimates does the enemy team have that they might also flank with. So Death Blossom, of course, is one that is pretty much always done with a flank. You can expect Reaper, if he's up top or behind you, he might just try to sneak in with his Death Blossom. So if Nightshade can identify that, okay, they probably have Death Blossom, then we really need to keep an eye out for that ultimate to be used in the next fight. And then also plan ahead, what can we do to counter it? So making sure that we have Immortality Field available, or any sort of defensive ult, or just, again, positioning, making sure that we're not all grouped up where a Death Blossom or a Grav Dragons or something like that could, you know, potentially wipe the team. So I think that's definitely something they can work on. But again, overall, it's been pretty good here. Let's see. Oh, we're already jumping into our next map, which is Temple of Anubis. And it seems that Nightshade will be on the defending side first here. So we'll see what they run on defense. In the past, Anubis has been one of Nightshade's strongest maps. I know that they loved running like a Symmetra comp here, TPing everyone up to the high ground, and like even doing like a bunker with Bastion behind an Orisa shield. And we've done some pretty crazy stuff on this map on defense. I'm not sure if they're gonna try to pull that off again here, or if they're gonna go with more of a, you know, regular meta comp. We'll see here what they end up picking. So it does look like we're running more of a traditional comp here. We're running the Orisa Sigma, which is very strong, very meta right now. We have Eerie as Soldier to help deal with any sort of Pharah they could potentially run. And then Cloud is on the Junkrat. And hi, Input. It looks like you've joined back in. I'm just going through the different heroes that Nightshade is currently selected on defense. I see Cloud is on this Junkrat, which I think is a great pick. I love running a Junkrat on this first point of Anubis, even sometimes the second point, just because there's so many corridors that the enemy team will try to push through, that Junkrat spam is just so strong in.
Because that defender's right side that Cloud just came out of is such the kind of standard rotation, and then once you get like a Junk just spamming in there, just makes it so tricky.
So it'll be interesting to see if the enemy team is going to still try to push through the inside even with the Junk spam, or if they're gonna, you know, rotate up and around up top, or just straight to point.
Even that defender's left rotation, there's also that small room that a lot of Junk spam can get a lot of value.
That is true. Yeah, absolutely right.
And so Cloud pushes forward a little bit and sees how the angle goes. Pole comes out, doesn't get Cloud. And then the spin. It's exactly this. It's a lot of pressure, but then you get a flanking Reaper onto Photo. Immortality comes out kind of late, Reaper goes down, but Cloud goes down in exchange. Cloud's vines get Phantom though. And so now this is a kind of devolved fight that's kind of sketchy. We'll see how this plays out. Wow, that's a quick window.
Yeah, it was.
It is one of like the kind of the flip side of the Junk spam.
Exactly. Yeah. Lots for a Baptiste to heal.
Yep. Good clean. Oh no, losing. Uh oh. I almost want to say Riptire now or something. I was about to say good cleanup for Nightshade, but then Cloud, you gotta not die here. Okay, good. Good. Wait, first thing, keep it over Yule. And then the enemy team pulling out a little bit. So still unknown name of the enemy team. Korgmore gets stunned.
So Nightshade was able to reestablish themselves here. It looks like just Photo did get picked there, so she'll be coming from spawn, but otherwise we've regrouped pretty nicely here.
And I kind of want to see like an early tire from Cloud or something. Something to make this fight that will Photo's resetting not get the same value as it needs to.
Yep. Wayfarer's
like,
kind
Erie's
of in
gonna
a...
die here.
Oh,
And like, Erie had attack visor. Then we lose.
there's a tire. Waiting for immortality to go. Oh, there we go. Alright.
So, but there's still a Reaper on point who's beaten right now. And has that. Did you notice that have you seen the Discord symbol that pops up when enemies are discorded?
Yeah, it seems like I did see that, yeah.
It's new, I think. It's tough losing first with almost 4 ults on the board.
Mm-hmm.
New defense point.
Well, and hopefully, you know, now that we're in between fights, Nightshade is trying to predict what do they have. And of course, one of the big threats here is that Death Blossom. I could anticipate Reaper teleporting above point and then just dropping down while Nightshade's distracted. It looks like they are pushing through cave.
The enemy
here.
team has done this a couple times. The kind of right rotation from the enemy,
Yep.
and then left rotation on the Reaper.
Exactly.
Like, it goes down, the Reaper sneaking up behind.
And there he is.
Yep.
Photo does
Good
pop
trance, though. I like-
Transcendence, yeah.
Nightshade's gonna need a pick pretty soon. Everyone on
There we
the enemy
go.
team's really, really low. Quay's low, Phantom's low. Okay, Phantom goes down. Quay's 1. Whose window was that? Was that Bandit's window? Okay.
Yep. So thankfully that Death Blossom wasn't as detrimental as it could have been.
And how much is Nightshade pushing up here? How much is Nightshade making it hard for the approach? Not a ton. Nightshade's kind of giving the enemy team the approach for free.
Please move behind the barrier.
Because this enemy team wants to be able to do a clean rotation here, I think. And Nightshade's kind of letting them have most of the free rotation. Sigma gets pulled off the high ground. While this rotation's happening, a little bit just disorienting towards Nightshade. The reset comes back up. Nocturus getting in position for the flank.
Ares actually flanked behind them in the cave.
Yeah. Not quite getting enough kills quite yet though. Reaper on point by himself. Reaper gets the Sigma on point. The Discord comes on the Reaper. Eerie gets beaten down behind. And the fight on point is sketchy. Window comes out. Nightshade's still kind of peeking the window. Photo risking her life right here. Rock comes out, stuns. Eerie's behind. Eerie's in the back lines, disrupting things. This is looking good for Nightshade. 4 ults on board for Nightshade. Don't even need to use one to win this fight. They could chase. Eerie's looking at it, but goes back to main. But see, I think this next fight's one of those scary ones, right? Next, with this Reaper ult coming on board.
Mm-hmm.
Bongo's Reaper ult. Although, Photo's still going to the Zen trance. So that could be the difference they need. That could be the difference Nightshade needs. Right, like a definitive support ult to counter the flanking Reaper ult. Might make a difference.
60 seconds remaining.
And I think you're right. If they do rotate through the cave again, you know, anticipate that Reaper's going to be flanking on the opposite side or teleporting above point.
I mean, it's kind of like a magician too, where you like, they direct your focus, having one look one way so you don't see the sleight of hand maneuver the other way.
Exactly. That's a good way to think about it. So it looks like they rotated the other way, and Reaper did go again on the opposite.
That's unfortunate. Because Photo basically has to trance to recontest. Photo, you gotta hit Q to get on. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
too late.
Not budging. Score 0-2.
That's tough because it's as a Zen player, I know that kind of situation where like much of your defense is hinging on you like landing the clutch trance, where like you gotta figure out when that threat's coming and land exactly like you gotta trance for it, but not for like the bait of it. And I remember Sabiolbi in the Overwatch League having a lot of trouble because he kept throwing in his translocator Asambra onto the enemy, and I think it was maybe Violet on the enemy team playing Zen, who wasn't getting faked out at all on like on trancing, because if you
Yep.
if you throw a translocator in, the Zen's initial reaction is to trance, but you don't want to trance if the person's only baiting the translocator.
Yep.
And because if they just bait a translocator, throw it in, then you just trance, and they don't translocate an EMP, it's fine. You just throw another translocator in a couple seconds, and then you now have a free EMP and win the team
Exactly.
fight. And so getting those trances off in like just the right timing when the threat is actually happening, but it's not like not happening. It's tricky, and it's especially like my example was Overwatch League, but we're not playing with a local area network latencies of like 0 milliseconds. We're talking there's some real latency happening here, which makes it even tougher for Photo to get those trances in time once the threat is shown.
Exactly. So we're running Moira Break, which is interesting.
This is always a tricky situation.
Yeah.
You've lost one on your rotation, and what do you do here? So how much do you push forward? You're taking a 5v6. There is a thankfully there's a Widow who's kind of out of this fight right now. I think the Widow's looking for the pick on like Eerie as the approach comes in. Eerie gets in without being picked. Photo goes down. The res comes out to pick up Cordmore now. This pull, wall comes out. Taco gets walled off. Widow shooting down the line of sight. Taco's dead. Eerie getting low. Sketchy wall things going on. A huge dynamite. Widow finally lands a headshot onto Photo this time. Wayfarer incredibly low. I think Bandit's running low on healing at this point. Korgmore bongo's out in the open, gets Wayfarer. Noxtress dies, Mercy goes for the res, Noxtress comes back. Bob comes out, Orisa dies for Nightshade. Widow's back up in position. Defenders decide they need to use Trance to keep it alive. Noxtress being uncontested on the high ground. Mercy goes down on point though. Photo dies, and Eerie dies late, but the Dynamite gets Clock Tricks. And Cloud's like, you know what, I'm taking this fight to the Widow. You've gone uncontested for too long. Cloud realizes that's kind of sketchy, gets low health, gets out. And then the Widow's left just by herself up top now. Cloud takes the duel. Wayfarer gets the kill though. I was a kind of slow attack, but that was like, there's also just like one long fight.
It was, yeah.
New defense point. Objective
Like once Nightshade put on the pressure, they never let up until they capped.
Exactly.
And so now we have actually good ult economy coming in favor for Nightshade. Nightshade has like 4 ults, kind of 3, mostly 4. Wayfarer discorded with that new Discord symbol. I like it. Hopefully see more Zen in Overwatch League Season 3. Not biased though. Good aggressive bongos. Defensive May ult comes out. All Nightshade committed was the bongos. 4 ults on board for Nightshade. Just trance on board for, or trance and gravitic flux on board for the defenders.
I'm restoring.
Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a stagger here. It looks like Taco did get out. That's good.
And so as Nightshade hasn't done this too much, this kind of pushing up and chasing, I think it's oftentimes worth it. I think it just buys you an extra couple seconds sometimes. Buys you a little bit of all charge and I don't know, maybe another 10 seconds sometimes in the defending, and which is still what you want. We get these tanks pulling real close. Korgmor goes down. Both tanks go down. How fast can Nightshade take this to point? The trance comes out. The window comes out. It's both support ults for... And then Eerie dies, unfortunately. Those headshot baps through the windows are so powerful. Sumo doesn't hit much. One tick comes out. Photo frontlining right now. Bob comes out. Scary Bob. Reaper on point, though. Quay gets the kill on Bob. And this is looking like it's going to be a defensive hold now. Gets a good 1.5 ticks, though. Big ult investment.
Now
What
it
did you
looks
think
like.
of that, Bob? Oh, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it looks like there's no alts on the board as of now, but enemy Reaper will have Blossom for this
Yeah.
next fight.
What did you think of that Bob positioning?
He was pretty much out in the open, but on the point, right? From what I saw.
Well, yeah, and because what's interesting is like if the Bob was more on point towards like the left attacker's left side of the point, it would have actually like disrupted the Reaper who came back and contested a lot better, I think.
Okay.
But instead it didn't. It was kind of a 1v5, like Bob against everyone else on the right side.
Yeah, I see what you
And it
mean.
didn't quite get as much value, but I wouldn't have known to do that at the right time. At the time, right? Like it definitely seemed like the right place to put Bob at the time, but Reaper's getting in position for the flank death blossom right now. Pull comes out. Reaper's just waiting here. Wayfarer going to chase down the Reaper. And Wayfarer getting herself a little bit staggered. Enemy team doesn't run the stagger too hard. I'm worried about Nightshade in this position. This is tough.
Yeah.
Because they gotta take 2 fights and not stagger, right? They gotta take 1 fight, hopefully use that bunch of ults, and
60 seconds.
then another fight to eventually win it. Or I guess take this 1 fight really long and live through 5 enemy ults somehow.
Yeah, the enemy has so many alts on the board here.
Yeah.
Pretty terrifying.
Into the iris.
Okay. Enemy bongos comes out.
Huge.
Reaper goes down. No, but see, look at that pull into the freeze. The pull into is so good. And
30 seconds.
the
Someone is on point. Yuri's actually on point. She might actually get a free tick here. Oh, yeah.
she got a whole free tick and 2 picks.
Oh,
And
wow.
the ult. Oh my god, Eerie. Eerie, did you just clutch this? I honestly. Okay. Oh no. Save Eerie, save Eerie. Okay, back to the Reaper. Worry about the Reaper on point. Immortality comes out. Brig ult is what you really like for this situation. This fighting up point. Everyone's getting shields, keeping everyone healed up and shield. Shuts down makes the Reaper way less effective. Now we want to see good target focus though. Because in these kind of scrappy fights, target focus makes all the difference. May goes down, Photo goes down too though. Window comes out, it's blocked by the May wall. Coalescence comes out. Bongos is there, gets lasered down. Yuri dies unfortunately, Sigmal comes out. And Bob isn't gonna be able to make it. Oh!
Victory.
That's tough.
It was. I think at that point, they were just at such a disadvantage with the alt economy, you know.
Yeah.
Even though they were able to establish themselves on point, the enemy team was able to just start popping alts once they were able to get back on point.
Yep.
And just kind of pick Nightshade out one by one.
Good games though.
That was, yeah.
I'm going to check out Nightshade though.
Okay, we'll probably do one more, right?
I think, I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk to them, see what's up. I'll leave you in suspense.
All right. So we'll find out in just a second if we will be doing a map 5. Oh, looks like we already got a response from Nightshade saying, yeah, let's do it. So yes, we'll be doing a map number 5. So far we've played, I'm trying to figure out what kind of map we're going to play, because we've done a hybrid. We did King's Row. We did a control. We did 2 CP. Did we do an escort? Currently Busan has been pulled up, so we might be doing Busan as map number 5. Looks like we are having some of Nightshade's players subbed in and out. So we will be starting here in just a second. We're currently still making some subs, and then we'll be playing Busan. We'll be playing all 3 points, just like a typical scrim practice. I feel like this scrim so far has pretty much been going the same way since the beginning, where it's been very close on both sides, but the opponent has kind of clutched the win on each map, just barely above Nightshade. So we'll see if Busan ends up being the same, where, you know, Nightshade might take 1 round, but then the opponent takes 2, or if Nightshade will take a few, or Nightshade dominates all of them. We'll see. I'm excited to see what we end up doing here. We're just finalizing the roster here as far as who on Nightshade will be playing. So far we have Bandit, Wayfarer, Eerie, Cloud, AJ, and Photo in. We'll be starting map number 5 in just a minute. We are still finalizing a couple of details here. Seems like Nightshade has been alternating between running like a Rein Zarya or a Sigma Orisa. We've seen a lot more of the Sigma Orisa, which is pretty much to be expected because they're considered strong in the meta right now. We'll see if they end up doing that again with Busan, or if they want to, you know, try the Rein Zarya, which we did see on Oasis earlier tonight. And then what other comps might they run? We might see Hanzo. We did see Pharmacy earlier on Rialto, so we could always, you know, surprise them with a Pharmacy on maybe like the downtown map. Could even see a Widow. I'm not sure if any of our Widow players are currently in right now. That is an option on a map like that. We've also seen McCree for a little bit. A lot of Soldier. And then for healers, we've seen, of course, Baptiste. Baptiste is just, he's very strong right now. So we've seen Baptiste, maybe some more Moira or Zenyatta here or there. I'll have to find out. And with the enemy team, they've been running a lot of Reaper. I mean, their Reaper is very good, and very good at catching Nightshade off guard as far as, you know, his positioning and just doing these sneaky Death Blossoms. We've also seen their main tank player playing Rein doing some sneaky shatters, so makes me wonder if they're going to do something similar here on Busan. So, first round of Busan will be this downtown. Common picks for this one, again, would be Widowmaker up top. Could use some dive tanks, actually, I've seen here. Currently, we do have Bandit picking Wrecking Ball, and Bandit's Wrecking Ball, I have to say, is solid. I'd be very excited to see if she ends up running the Wrecking Ball here. Nightshade's still continuing to pick their heroes. A little bit late here. Wayfarer is on the Zarya. DPS still trying to figure out what they're going to run with this comp. And we have a Moira and a Brigitte. So AJ is normally on our tank role. She is going to be playing healer this time.
There's some change-ups on who's playing what.
I'm so excited to see Bandit on this Wrecking Ball here. Try to do like a sneaky boop on them from behind, but
It almost worked, I gotta say.
and
what's
she's
nice
trying
is,
again.
like,
Oh, but maybe
in
she
this
can
Pharah
catch.
pressure, it feels like it's going pretty well. It might not quite be enough, but I feel like this Pharah is gonna like pay off soon. Yep, and then look at Sombra super 1 right here. Uh-oh, Photo dies. And then that Anna's 1, right? Anna's 1 HP, she gets followed up on. Point goes in favor of Nightshade.
Ooh, and now they're running Sombra on the enemy team. Yeah. So Bandit's gonna have to not get hacked by that.
Sombra Translate gets out. Much of this enemy team is super low right now.
Restoring you. My will made real.
It's interesting that Nightshade's not running a Mercy with the Pharah.
Yeah.
I might even switch off like a Brigitte and do a Mercy instead in that slot.
Although to be fair, Brigitte can actually pocket the Mercy or heal the Pharah pretty well. You throw some packs up on the Pharah, you don't have to aim them very well.
That's true.
Like, and then you can help the kind of ground battle a lot better, right? Like,
Let me touch that up.
And I was spectating Bandit. She's been doing a good job, like even just getting in the back line and distracting the healers. Not always necessarily getting a pick on the healers, but distracting them so they're not healing their team. And maybe even have to get out of position to avoid Bandit, which is pretty good. You know, as a Wrecking Ball, you want to be annoying, right?
boy, and I just saw it across the map direct from Eerie onto the enemy Widow.
Oh, wow.
And then, like, that Korgmore kill, although Cloud got the final blow on it, was really enabled by Eerie on the, like more directs onto Noxtrix. And then this frontline pressure, right? Because there's no shield for Nightshade. But, like, you got a Brig, a Mei, a Ball, and a Moira, and, like, a Zarya right there. And this will having, like, Hal rain down on you from above with the Pharah. It's just tricky. So lots of ults we could see from Nightshade, potentially. Pharah goes down. And then, unfortunately, these ults are kind of not quite getting... Oh, the res goes off in a bubble. Okay.
Oh.
Big mines. Winston dies. What's the target focus here? I see
like the Mercy.
Mercy gets out. Bubble comes out. Keeps her alive. Keeps Faith alive. This is first point. 100-0.
Good job by Nightshade. Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but their Mercy went and res the Sombra because Sombra had EMP. But immediately before she could even EMP, she went into the mines and just died again.
Ooh,
so
unlucky.
It was very unlucky for that Sombra, but very good for Nightshade. Yeah. It almost seems like the opponent really isn't sure what to run against this sort of comp. It's nice to see Nightshade changing it up a little bit.
Five, four, three, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Right away, Bandit's just kind of going deep, trying to disrupt the enemy line there. Nightshade has moved right onto point. Unfortunately, Bandit did get picked there.
The objective is now active.
Power of destruction.
So Nightshade kind of backed out there instead of contesting point after they lost Bandit.
I kind of like that though. Do you like that play or no? Oh, Cloud's
Well,
super low, not getting healed.
At that point, they would have been 5v6, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's
And,
my,
and there's
my
no
thought
point
process
to
on it, right?
necessarily stall point because no one has obtained the point at
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Gale the Mahal.
AJ a little bit back from things, not getting the Inspire proc that she needs to. Big power driver. Beaver would be happy. Really kind of separates the team. Look at this Ryan out of position. The bubble comes out to side of shade with Ryan. Good Nightshade progression onto the Ryan. Ryan kites back. Bandit gets the kill. You hear him laughing away. Wayfarer goes down to a Chicky Hanzo headshot. Phantom pops off again in the way that Phantom sometimes does. Brig frozen. Brig 1. Power driver coming out. Brig dead. For Nightshade. In this fight that looked like it could have gone in the favor of Nightshade. Gets Hanzo headshot to Doom, and then Bandit has to get out. Ooh, late pick on Moira though. If Nightshade can kind of regroup, get a good play in here. They have good ults, they could get this to go.
Move back.
It's those Hanzo headshots, they're so scary.
Looks like Erie's switching off from the Pharah onto the Junkrat.
Okay. Get the rally coming out. Shatter and Grab exist.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fair. Grab no longer exists because Fadzar is out of the fight.
Yeah.
The boop comes out, messes up Ryan in the Shatter. May gets stunned out of her ult, unfortunately. And then the Shatter is kind of big, but then is mostly kind of countered by a Grab. The Death Blossom somehow manages to kill
Oh, that's
three
huge.
through junk, but through. That's unfortunate. That's about it. Unfortunate. That's an unlockers. And Bandit doing her best, but there's only so much one ball can do against 6 players.
Огонь по готовности.
100 to 0.
我が敵を食らう
Score 1-1. Ready for battle.
So what do you think went wrong that last round? I mean, the Reaper was definitely... he had a pretty good play there.
I think one of the things that went right on the first map was just the kind of disruption that Nightshade was constantly causing. The Pharah raining down death from above, Bandit out and about doing stuff, and there was almost too much coordination from Nightshade on that second round. Right, with Nightshade all going through the same way, it meant the defenders had a pretty easy attack of like, okay, this is where we need to be like focusing, right? But on the first map, it's like, where do you focus? You're being attacked from everywhere, and the fight's kind of everywhere. But the comp in a kind of focused team fight situation, this enemy's kind of composition favors the enemy more than it does favor Nightshade. And so Nightshade playing their good coordination almost a bit to their detriment in a way.
Both teams are staying up here on the high ground. No one's electing to drop down to point. I think they're just trying to look for a pick here and secure the team fight.
But see, the problem though is this high ground v high ground fight completely favors the enemy in this situation. Like, because what was Bandit supposed to be doing there? Like,
Yeah.
like it's not really a mirror matchup, but like it's a little bit of a mirror matchup, and then like it turned it into kind of a 6v5 because like Bandit can't be in the back harassing an Ana like she could on the first map.
Yeah, so it looks like the opponent's running a Baptiste and a Brigitte. Do you think that's also giving Nightshade some trouble? I mean, is the Wrecking Ball not working as effectively now because of that?
And I think to be honest, to some degree, I think Nightshade's understanding of the fact that this might not be working as effectively. Those mines though. But I think Nightshade wanted to just kind of change it up a little bit, try something kind of fun, play around with different roles, and have a good time. And Bandit warned people that she might feed on Ball.
Well,
and
you know what? I should just take back my words because Bandit just popped off there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because Bandit warned people she might feed on Ball, and maybe she didn't contribute much to that first fight, but damn did she contribute a lot to that second fight. Forgive my profanity, but those mines got a lot of value.
Yeah.
But see, now she doesn't have mines, and we have Rally coming out here, we have Bob coming out here, and I think we need to use Rally and Bob to win this fight. See, Grab Dragons comes out, gets 3, we didn't split for it. Well, now what do? What do you, you just stall point as best you can, but that was, 28%, okay. In next fight you have Bob, and you have, Junkrat Tire. But you're going into the Death Blossom and Rally, and so far from what we've seen in this match is the kind of the Death Blossom wins against most things. It could be a good Bob, it could be a good Rally. AJ takes a lot of pressure early on. I don't know what fight that was. Early pin on the Bandit.
Reaper's gonna ult here.
Yep. I think Reaper ulting here is actually one of the best situations possible.
Oh, huge tire.
And good Bob. This is not how I thought this fight would go.
Not at all. Wow.
Sometimes you can have a kind of, like, literally bird's eye view, third person perspective, all tracking and looking at everything and still not quite understand how the fight's gonna go. Now, of course, I think the Reaper ult's gonna be the big deal here.
Yeah.
But there's a grab. Lots of pressure on Ryan. Good Bandit boop through. Bandit has mines again. You can grab mine here potentially.
Yeah, I would
AJ
grab
goes
here
down,
pretty
looking for
short.
lining. That Baptiste goes down. Bandit goes off the map too, though. Interesting. This is.
So that grab did not have the follow up, and maybe partially
really
because
and they couldn't quite get the Reaper during the ult either.
yeah. If anything, it almost seemed like that Reaper zoned the Nightshade from being able to follow up on the grab. Because they're not going to walk into the Death Blossom.
And it's tragic that Bandit rolled off the map too there, because I think if that grab comes out, Bandit mines the grab. I think it's a whole different situation. See, call outs. The Baptiste is low. Can we get the Baptiste kill? There we go. Bandit gets the Baptiste kill.
Reaper is low there.
Reaper's low too. Reaper might go down here. Reaper does go down here. Photo, you gotta not be in Ryan's swinging range. This is winnable by Nightshade. Oh no, AJ goes down to the Ryan. That Ryan's so one. Melee him. Good. No boop, no boop. Recontest happens. Okay, good. This is.
Okay.
This is the dream. This is the dream. The enemy's shaking in their boots now. You can feel it. You can feel their comms coming through. There's Rally. There's Coalescence. All the enemy has is Dragon and Grab. Oh god, all the enemy has is Dragon and Grab. That's exactly what you want to have. But Nightshade split, which is Wayfarer goes down early.
That's not something we want to have happen at the beginning of this fight.
Cloud goes down early. Grab comes. Coalescence comes out. No grab yet. AJ gets kind of caught out on her own. The attempt for the playing split worked. We need something huge coming out now. We need a clutch from some of the players. Grab comes out into Photo and Bandit and Eerie, and it cleans them up. Wayfarer walking back down to point, slowly south. AJ has Rally. I don't know where she is right now. She's coming back to spawn. Cloud couldn't quite get the. Oh.
Oh.
What a tragic game. That was so close.
That was.
I'm gonna go check in with them.
Sure. Alright, so that will wrap up this evening's scrim. Nightshade versus this new team that we haven't scrimmed before. I'm honestly very impressed with the way the scrim went. Sometimes it's a little unpredictable whether or not the opponent is going to be kind of at Nightshade's level or not, but I'm impressed with how evenly matched everything was. Like, even that last round of Busan was like, wow, that was so close. It's overall very exciting scrim, in my opinion. So I think Nightshade is going to be pretty pleased with how they played tonight, and they'll be excited to rewatch this VOD and kind of see things from a different perspective. I think there's definitely a lot of takeaways we can do too, and you know, that's the point of the scrims, is to practice and kind of see what you need to work on so that you can improve for the next time. So I'm very happy with how everything went, and I had a lot of fun casting. I hope you all had fun watching. I'm going to check in with the team, but for now I think we'll wrap up the stream, and hopefully we'll see you soon for another scrim. Thank you.